Hello, hello, hello. I guess the music didn't play.
And we were supposed to be going hide, but that's okay.
Hi. But anyway, I'm Orlando,
And I'm
and
Kaz,
and this is Late Night Riot.
and you're with us
Yeah.
on.
And we'll be talking about outlining. Do you need to outline or not?
Uh, Good topic.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I know screenwriting programs give you an outlining possibility, and then you've got other things that are just you just write down your story points as you go along.
Hmm.
And there's all kinds of ways of doing it.
That's right, many ways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just about every company out there has their own layout or what they call the different sections and all the goodies like that.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll be bringing up a couple just to show you examples.
All right, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So how do you want to start this, Kaz?
I don't know. I mean, show us your way if you're ready for that. Or like
Okay.
in which order. I know you know how to do this, but yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Me, I like to do an outline, but I get halfway through it and then I start writing. So that's it, you know.
Well, yeah, because I mean, there's
Then I go
extended out
back. Yeah,
there's extended outlines too,
yeah.
right?
I think I have. That's my thinking part in a way as well. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's one. We'll try this one.
Right.
Now,
So
this one, the concept and basic structure of this type of setup is basically very similar to Save the Cat.
yes, our favorite.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is your favorite. I did have to break
Beat
you
sheet.
of a few things because yeah, on page 10 or inside, stuff doesn't necessarily happen exactly
Mm.
at a specific point
Mhm.
because every script is different.
That's right.
You know, so here what we have is the concept, um, which is your opening is your first thing. You have your destination where you're going to be. The original, usually, it's your protagonist is the first person you meet, and what it is that they do, what their a little bit of their what their history is what's going to be in the opening, and what it is that they're physically doing,
Hmm.
right?
Isn't it at a cold? Yeah.
And then you get to the inciting incident, which is going to be the thing that makes them act or
Yeah.
makes them decide they have to do something.
Hmm.
And usually it's better if it's a actual decision from the character that they have to do something about something rather than just being forced to
Hmm.
move, right? Unless, of course, that's your antagonist coming in really quick.
Well, that's a good
You
intro.
know?
Yeah. Hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So, of course, you have to really do have to describe and show the physical scenes of what is pushing your protagonist to do what they've decided to do.
Yeah.
And then here on it says on page 10, um, they have to make a real decision. one way or the other. They can't follow the same life they had been following before in the same way. That's like they say that has to happen on page 10. And well,
Yeah.
I've had it happen on page 8, I've had it happen on page 15. Whatever it is that the story demands.
Yeah.
As I say, these are samples. So your first turning point, which is basically the end of Act 1 in your standard 3-act format, that's when they're in, what would you say, in motion and starting to do things. And a lot of times this is when locations change. You can no longer be where you used to be, or if you are, the things outside of where you are have changed, depending on the type of script you're actually writing. I mean, it might be literal,
Yeah.
and everything that entails, and all the things and decisions that they're making and they're doing, that'll get you up to the midpoint. And unlike some people, to me, the midpoint is I mean, the end of Act 1, going into when you're coming close to the midpoint, to me, that's something that should be coming up as a climax. It should be something that's wanting to get you past the midpoint.
Yeah.
Almost like a cliffhanger type of deal. And then as you get then you start getting really into the meat of the problems and the issues. And this is where a lot of the things that the protagonist is doing aren't necessarily working, or they're getting into trouble, or they're failing, or or they have to bring in other people to help them.
Yeah.
Or it's other, and this is usually where the antagonist comes in to really play hard.
It
Then this is,
changes.
yeah, because then the stakes have to keep getting raised, right? You can
Yep.
start off with a pretty simple story at the beginning, but by the time you get to the midpoint, you find out, whoa, this is way worse than anybody thought, right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
And
changes it.
that
I
will,
love midpoint. I
yeah.
can't do it. Yeah.
Well,
I start
well,
my thinking
yeah.
starts with the midpoint nowadays. If I can't find a midpoint, I probably don't. Even though I know the idea and the concept, done all that, and got a
Mm-hmm.
character, and this is going to happen. But if I can't find that midpoint, I don't start writing it till I know it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, it helps to know what you're writing towards.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and in the beginning, I didn't. And then I realised in time, with all the stuff we've written, and I thought, well, I've got that midpoint. What's the midpoint? Where's the
Well,
midpoint?
well,
Like us.
exactly so.
Yeah.
Exactly so. And I mean, that same
It
goes
just
with,
changes everything. Yeah.
but the same goes with the climax at the end. A lot of
Mm,
people start with the climax and then
yeah.
work backwards.
Yeah.
And that's how they write their outlines, is they write it from back to front.
Yes. Yes. That's right. Yeah.
'Cause,
Um,
there's all kinds of ways you can do it. I mean, whatever
that's
works
right.
for an individual
Yeah.
is to build a story.
There's no solid rule on this at
That's right.
all. Yeah.
Because somehow you have to get to this point that's happening at the midpoint,
Mm,
what's going on there, but you also still have to continue building up that story and
yeah.
tension to get
Yeah.
to the climax. For this
Mm,
climax to happen, all these other things have to happen,
yeah. It falls into place. Didn't,
right?
yeah.
But anyway, so once we get past the midpoint, and that's really laying down the law, right?
Mm.
The competition is on, basically. The antagonist has no doubts about who the protagonist is now,
Oh
or at
yeah, no
least,
doubt
or at
whatsoever.
least what, or at least
Yeah,
what. And
that's right.
sometimes it is the hunt for the protagonist
Mm.
that takes you all the way through until you get to the climax, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for a lot of them, it, you have to have the antagonist and the protagonist interact
Mm.
in a lot of scripts.
Yeah.
Which takes us, of course, to the second turning point, which
Mm.
is at the end of Act 2, which is pretty cool in the long run, because here is where plans start getting built, and or competitions back and forth, or battles happen, and
Yeah.
just a lot of ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs,
Mm.
right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And this is, but it has to
Yeah.
actually have a meaning in the grand, vision of the whole story.
Mm.
You can't just throw in stuff there because it looks cool. It actually has to belong there, right?
Mm.
Usually the best rule of thumb is, well, if you take that out and then everything still works, then why do you need it?
Mm.
It should be things that cannot be removed.
Mm.
You'll notice a big hole, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. It's a big turning point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
well, this is
End
usually
of Act
also,
2. Mm.
yeah, before the end of Act 2 is usually when a person will find out some some deep knowledge of some sort, some realization, some reckoning of some sort
That's right. Mm. It
that they
will
didn't.
change everything from that point on as well. To
That's
into
right.
action, usually, yes.
Well, that's right. When
Mm.
realization dawns and you go, "Oh my, see, I've been going at this the wrong way," or whatever the case, right?
Yeah, like holy shit moment. Yeah. Ah.
Yeah, yeah, or
Yeah.
something you couldn't believe could happen
Mm.
is actually what's happening.
That's the revelation,
That's
sort
the
of.
revelation, that just
Yeah.
because I don't wish it to be so doesn't mean it's not happening, right?
Mm.
But it's usually a shock to the antagonist or
Mm.
protagonist once that realization hits,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And so now we build in, and right here at the end of Act 2 and going into Act 3 is the crisis. And that's what this is, the revelations.
Mm.
And
Action.
yeah, because now the hero has a crisis of mind,
Mm.
crisis of heart. Stuff like this is because of what they're learning within the script. There should be things there that shock them to the core enough to make them do what they have to do
Mm.
to stop whatever it is that's you know what that the issue is.
And may I sort of kind of butt in a little bit, as you're saying all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember too that usually, like from midpoint onwards and things like that, he has to overcome. Remember those four traits that Hal taught us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and make one of them weak, which weakens him throughout the whole story. And I think, I don't know, but like he has to also overcome that weakness, like
Yes.
to, yeah, and around about this point. Don't know.
Right. And that's usually a blind spot of some sort.
That's why we have a weak trait, like he's an
Yes.
alcoholic, or
Yeah.
he's an ex-murderer, or and he's compulsive something, I don't know.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
That's a double battle that's actually happening.
Or you just have a complete belief in something that isn't
Mm.
real.
Yes, to have
At
a
least,
turnabout.
not real in the way you thought it
Mm.
was.
Mm.
Your
No,
perception of something.
yeah, he's up against it, that
Yeah.
extra thing, something like that.
Yeah. In the crisis, because this is usually what makes or breaks your hero.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's an emotional um, thing for the audience, where to watch it
Mm-hmm.
as a movie. Because that gives them like a double cross he's carrying, and we go, oh no, he's going to fall, he won't be able to do this, such a huge thing already he has to overcome, you know, but to also have this one thing that's going to hold him back and always to, like he said, oh no, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. And now he must do that, swim that channel when he can't swim, sort of thing. I don't know,
Yes.
afraid of sharks, I don't know, he's scared.
Yeah.
But he has to,
Turn his
yeah.
back on something to see clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, so all these things usually happen around the midpoint, where he has to go forth or charge and make him do it. And he has
Mm-hmm.
that kind of resolution. I find that in a lot of those things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or he has an ability within himself or
Yeah,
herself
that's
that
right.
they
Yeah, yeah. So all of
that
that
they that they
emotion is
hate.
there.
I know, but it'd be one of those things that they hate that they have to do it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. I just find that
Like
interesting.
something your mom taught you or your dad taught you way back
Mm.
when you were 12 or 13 or something, and it's like,
That's
well,
right. Yeah.
they were right, and you don't want to. The thing is, but you don't want to believe it.
Yeah. This is
But
the
at
fun part for us. Yeah.
some point, it gets proven in front of your face,
Mm. Yeah. No, it's
and the way to react to that is the way they did then.
yeah.
In most cases,
Mm.
in other words, like a lot of people, well, I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be like my dad.
Yeah.
You know,
I
but but
yeah.
that has that kind of thing, and the way the thinking goes in people's heads. A
Mm.
lot of times, I mean, it could be a brother they don't want to be like, or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Mm.
It just you know could have been a boss, could have been a friend, could have been anybody.
Could have been. Yeah. That's
You know,
right. It's the
somebody had
fun
warned
part.
them. Somebody had warned them at one time about, if you ever come across this, do this. You know?
Yeah. And that's in the setup early on. All this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you get your payoff and the.
or not.
Mm.
Or not. It doesn't that's not one of those things where you bring in a character just to say this thing.
Oh no, no, that's
No.
right.
No,
Yeah,
no. It's
yeah,
just something that's innate
no, no,
in
that's
them
right.
in a way they believe.
Yeah,
And
I was just
it can come across in how
that's
they
right.
react to people
Yeah.
and everything else, and then maybe they find out they have to react differently.
Mm. That's true. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Yeah.
But all the while, the stakes are getting higher.
Yeah. Raise the
And they
stakes.
just keep going up and up and up.
Mm.
Once the
Mm.
decision is made, you can't stop,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's all in the crisis part here. Because it is usually a crisis, literally, of the whole character.
Yeah. That's right.
Their whole being.
Mm. This is where it's all up to him to make him the hero. More so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the choices that the protagonist makes at this point are going will be do or die.
Mm. Yeah. Always that.
You
Do
will
or
you'll
die.
survive to the climax,
Mm.
or you'll die in the climax.
Yeah. And this happens in every genre. Something like that
Mm-hmm.
happens. It can be
Oh
in a
yes.
rom com, it can be in a drama, it could be in a thriller, it could be in that because that is movie making.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
nothing
Well,
else, you
well,
know.
it's not just movie making. That I mean, that's life.
That's it's so true. That's when you face up, and it could. You know, art
I
is
mean,
mimicking life.
every
Yeah,
yeah, everybody at some point or another has to face their demons, right?
absolutely. That's what makes it a good movie, I
And
think.
that's what this the second half of the movie, like starting in Act Two, and getting into the crisis. That's literally what it is all about. This character
Exactly.
has demons, and he's got to face them.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you don't have a story as well to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. You'll have a B story,
Eh,
what do you call that? Yeah.
well, or you just won't have an interesting story.
Well,
That's all.
that's what I was trying to. Yeah, B
Yeah.
story. Not the B and C story. I don't mean that, but yeah, it's just
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
a Z. What
And,
happened there? Yeah. Yeah.
well,
So this is the outline, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, of course,
And beat
you
chicks.
know,
Yeah.
the crisis gets to the point where the meeting of the protagonist and antagonist has has to come, regardless of the rest of the story. They have to face off
Mm-hmm.
one way or the other. I mean, it doesn't have to be a physical fight. It doesn't even have to be an emotional fight.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is, the climax is there. One or the other
Mm-hmm.
um, can't be the winner.
Yeah.
Somebody at this point has to lose. It would in the story, it would be their um, well, the characters right or wrong.
Yeah. That's a good point. Very good. Yeah.
And if their point and what they're doing is right,
Mm.
then they should have the wherewithal to win the climax.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they won't take a beating while
Yeah.
it's happening, um, but
Yeah.
it means in the end that what they were fighting for was is the right thing
Mm.
in whatever story it happens to be. And the
Yeah.
person who was the antagonist basically is proven wrong one way or another.
Mm.
Because that's just the way it works.
So there goes. Yes. We might
Yeah,
have laughed for that.
right.
Mm.
And that's when the final truths come out.
Mm.
The true characters come out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you find out, well, that guy that looked like a good guy doesn't look so good anymore. You know?
Yeah.
It's one of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
And then you get to the resolution, which is
Yes.
basically okay, after the dust has settled, what has been gained? How does this make life better, or the world
Mm.
better, or the universe better,
Yeah.
or just your backyard better? You know?
Yeah.
Or how does it make you a better person?
What changed you? Yeah.
Yeah. What is the
It's
permanent
about
change?
it's about change, isn't it?
Yes, in a lot of cases.
Not
Because
always.
because um, if nobody change if the protagonist doesn't change from beginning to end, well then it's going to
Mm.
be a boring story.
Yeah, that's the arc, isn't it? Yeah, we're talking
That's
about.
exactly right. And it's called an arc for a reason.
Mm. Yeah, what's your arc?
It's not a flat line. An arc goes like this.
Yeah, I want my money back. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just wanted to just watch that movie. I don't want my money back. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
horrible and bad critique,
Exactly.
low box office, and there you go. So it's important to have an outline. Beat sheet is like everything for me, you know. Well, it's not everything. It doesn't have to be, but you know, I think,
Yeah.
especially if you're just starting out, you know, mm, it's a good guide line. You
Okay, I'll stop sharing that one. And if you want, I can share a different one
hmm
because it's just a whole.
what was the name of that? What did you have a name of that movie or?
Oh, that's literally for my Carnelian Key
Okay,
screenplay.
just a road.
Okay. Oh, of course, page 33. Alrighty. And this one here is more like what you would get from Screenwriting U.
Mm-hmm.
This would be, well, the terminology is just different. You have the fascinating core,
Mm-hmm.
the unique dilemma, and what is unique about that in one person or group. Because if you got a team, well then, an ensemble is different than writing an antagonist individually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the cool part is doing it this way. The fascinating core, it's predestined, right to right a wrong or redemption is what this particular script is about. But this is where you would list these things so that it's always in your mind when you're watching and when you're writing. You know, in this case, yeah, he's the first scientist in a long line of religious royalty. So he's a scientist. He's not spiritual. He's religious. He's scientist, which is throws just the whole whack of things out of control right off the hop within the
Mm-hmm.
family, right? And all the things he has to go through. Okay, and then we got the rule two is the concept must provide a setup and payoff experience, right? If you set up something early on in the script, you have to pay it off later.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, even if you do set up 3/4 of the way through the script, you still have to pay it off by the end.
Yeah. Although I don't bother setting it up.
Well, that's right. Yep. Which is how this is this is well, it's taking me back to taking the classes and stuff like that, right? Where you
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, okay, now that makes sense,
I know. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then okay, so my setup here was harmonic scientist learned of his family legacy upon his grandfather's death.
Mm-hmm.
So the payoff is he hunts down the rest of the pieces after his grandfather sends him a family keystone piece when he dies. That's literally the payoff is what he has to do
Mm-hmm.
in order to honor his grandfather's wishes. And of course, all the time he's questioning, well, why me,
Mm.
right? I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not there. I'm in university. I'm going to be a scientist. Why
Mm-hmm.
me?
Yes.
Okay. And then, of course, you have log lines,
Ah, without a
and
long
that's
line, I couldn't live.
well, without
Pretty.
log lines, it's hard to it's hard to describe your story very
Ah,
succinctly
I
without one.
love, yeah, a log line and a midpoint. That's the two things that I have to have before I start writing. We can change it, but at least I have that as a map, right?
Right.
General sense of it. You tighten it up later, but yeah, about 10,000 times.
And of course, I've written all kinds of log lines here.
Yeah, why don't you read some out? You're good at that. You're the,
Okay.
Gary taught you.
Okay. Once shattered and scattered, the devastating carnelian crystal is healed, but only the holder of the true keystone will rule. There's another one by reuniting an ancient crystal shattered by the God-fearing, a science major rules the world.
Mm-hmm. How many words? I guess I'm just going for the rigmarole, but yeah, less than 25 we go for.
16.
Mm. We're pretty happy with that, aren't we? Usually.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Thousands of years ago, God-fearing people shattered the carnelian crystal. By
Mm.
reuniting the pieces, a college boy gains the world. And then, of course, we go to format. After that,
What would you like to see in a log line? It must consist of the, the.
well, it's got to have the protagonist,
Yep, protag.
the battle they're up against,
The fight, yep. The battle is better word, yes.
and the outcome.
And yep, three things necessary for a log line. Brings you down to quite a few less words as well. Don't have to tell the whole story in a log line. It's
Yeah.
just like, wow, the crisis moment and have to overcome, yeah, something. That's in the
Okay.
first few words, I think.
Oh,
Who you are.
alrighty. So one of the things you have to make sure is in your outline is okay. When is this taking place?
When. Yep.
Is it taking place in the past, the present, the future? And if it isn't the present,
Mm,
we need to know when.
exactly.
If this is, in the 1800s or is this in 2125,
Mm, yeah.
right? That kind of thing is one of the first things you need.
Yep.
And exactly what is happening right now at this time to or with the protagonist. And literally, again, like in the other one, what happens that changes his world.
What changes? There.
Right. Now, is it something someone else has done, or is it something he has done that he's now paying the consequences for?
Yeah,
There's more than one way to go at this.
that's true. Um, Most people paint in the ante, because that
Hmm.
makes it an instant conflict. Without conflict, you have nothing as well.
Well, that's right.
It could be a
So,
personal one, as you said, which is really good too. I mean,
hmm,
oh, yeah,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you're right about that. It's usually with that weak trait. I love playing with the traits.
That's right. And
Yeah.
and the and the thing is, the cool part is, I mean, you can take those points out of the outline from the outline, and basically put them together into a 3 or 4 paragraph
Mm. Mm.
summary of your
Yes.
whole story.
Mm.
Just
Yeah.
just by writing down the ideas of
Mm.
how things are going to go about happening.
Mm.
Who's going to do what to who, and how it's going to happen, and the circumstances, and
Mm.
what situations are they in.
Yeah.
What do they have to do to get from point A to point B,
Mm.
and when in your story this is going to be.
Mm.
But these are all things that you write up in your point forms.
Yeah.
When you've
Oh,
got
this
act
is, yeah.
right,
Sorry.
because when you have your beginning, your act one, right? You're going to start throwing everything down in point form, and you do a rough one first, because a lot of people, you don't know what your story is
Like me. Yeah.
until
Not
until
always.
well until you get into it and really start thinking about it.
Yeah. That's the thinking part on paper. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Mm.
And you
That's
don't
me.
know, well, and a lot of times you don't know who your characters are yet. They haven't started talking to you
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. I know.
you
I
know
love that bit.
you
Yeah.
know you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
you're not visualizing them in your mind
Yes,
yet.
it's like the outline is just that. That's all it is. You haven't filled in.
Hmm.
You don't even know all your characters yet, but it comes to you as you write, and that's why you have just an outline. Which is
Well,
good. It's a
that
guide. Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah.
Exactly right.
But
That's the way it runs.
I couldn't go without some sort of an outline. It doesn't matter how rough it is.
Well, yeah, you have to know what it is you're writing towards.
That's right, always. Oh, and I never write anything without knowing what the end is, you know. I could never, ever write a story, whether it's like script or book or anything like that. You have to know the ending. Although it takes me a while to get there with the book.
Well,
It's different,
and and a
That
lot
keeps
of
changing as I
a,
write.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of changes happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally, a
I
lot of
surprised
changes happen.
myself with that. I'm going, oh, I thought I was going to write that. Like, you know, I'm ending up writing it a lot differently, better ending, better this as you go along, But even when I'm writing a book, I still have that outline in my head. I still write my books like I'm writing a movie,
Hmm.
script
Yes.
writing. And
Well,
that's
because it's visualization.
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well, well,
you're really good at that too.
if you can't see it running in your head, how do you
Yeah,
write about it?
yeah,
How
that's
do you
right.
write about it? Right? I mean,
Exactly.
if you can, for me, I mean, if I can't see the movie or the book story, either
Mm,
way, if I can't visualize it in my head and see everything that's happening, how do you, how does a writer write it on the
yeah.
page so other people read it and understand
Mm,
what
mm,
you're seeing?
yeah. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because
Got that right,
that's
mate.
that's one of the biggest challenges right there.
Yeah. Yes. But again, like, not again, I mean, it's like this is the creative uh, bit of us that
Hmm.
goes into it, you know. And we start with an
Yeah.
idea, and I love that part, you know. And I think, yeah, okay, that's a great idea. What are we going to do with that? You know, that's you and I.
Yeah,
That's how
and can we
we,
fit it in?
yeah, exactly. And
Does
then
it
if
matter?
we can't visualize the beginning, middle, end somehow, you know, not in detail, but in the overview of it all,
In
of the
rough, yeah, in
story,
rough
yeah,
form. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. And we do. We talk about it like in about 5 minutes. That works to like 1 hour. If we love it, we're going to probably write about it. And if we say in 5 seconds, you know, no, not going to have that one, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If it isn't even worth a discussion, then bye bye.
But we like the idea, but we don't want to write it, you know.
Well, or it doesn't suit whatever it is we're writing now.
That's right. Of
It
course,
doesn't. It
yeah.
doesn't belong.
Doesn't belong to us, yes. Doesn't
Well, or
belong.
at least not in that script.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we use that in some another one though.
Well,
Ooh, great concept.
we have
Yeah.
written a whole script out of one comment for another script. We saved that idea,
Oh,
put it
yeah.
over here, and then
That's
we
what we
wrote the
did.
whole thing.
And it was such a great idea. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
use that. Got to use that. Got to use
Well,
that.
that turned out
But
being Mr. Forever was like that.
Mr. Forever, oh, one of my favorites.
I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, we were writing
Yeah.
Rogan's War,
Mm.
and all and Uncle Alien and
It's a
stuff like that. And
deadly
we went,
political
wait a minute, no,
thriller.
no, no, this is, you know,
Yeah. Mm. I love that. The way we went into Mr. Forever, we did not have an outline. Like that's us, even though we talk about an outline. We don't need one because we know.
that's right.
And then we go in, we talk about it so far. This is what we want to happen, these
Mm-hmm.
important things, you know. And then we do an outline to suit
That's
our
right.
idea. Would that be right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just started
And we change it.
we just started expanding
We expand, not change. Yeah,
bit
we
by bit. We didn't
expand.
change anything, but we did
No,
expand
that's true.
things,
Yep, yep.
right?
Yeah, I love, I mean,
But the
with,
the trick with that movie though, what we
yeah,
did though is we wrote it like two different stories.
I know. That's right. Yeah.
All of the stuff with the two characters was
Mm.
we wrote the whole thing down for them, and then
Yes.
for the
Mm.
town we wrote everything about
That's
the
right.
town,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
then we started weaving them together. But
That's, we were,
we knew what had to happen in the town. We also knew what had to happen with these other two characters.
that
But
was
then,
such an
but
interesting exercise. Yeah.
they all had to come together in the end.
They had to, of course.
So
Yeah, but
technically, there were
yeah,
two different battles going on at the same time,
yeah.
and it worked. So
I,
I loved it.
you
It
know,
was so much
that's
fun writing that.
that was a fun ride too because I mean we used to laugh as we're writing it. That
Yes.
but when it tells you something, then it's like oh that's
Okay,
so
yeah,
funny. Yeah,
we do have to remind people. Okay, I'm a Canadian writer. You're an Australian writer. It's
true.
our sense of humor,
Yeah,
and
who are we going
and
to
a lot of
kill?
it is,
Yeah,
and there is literal Canadian slapstick humor in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just the same as there's Australian cheeky humor,
Yeah, you got it. Well, come
and
from
that's
up
what
here. Yeah,
well exactly, and that's what made so much fun.
yeah. I love doing that one. Well, oh yeah. We kind of like laugh, and I'm writing that part with what's her name, Cynthia or whatever her name was, and the perpetual cloud, whatever her name was, rain,
Oh
and then
yes.
you, and people from different centuries were in it. You know, like once they go into that, don't know if we should be saying it on here.
Yeah. A little bit here and there doesn't hurt.
Yeah, well, you know. I mean, whoever got into that town was stuck there, didn't age and all that kind of
Forever.
things. Forever, yeah. And then Mr. Forever came in, and wow, they shook the town up, didn't they? And I'm not saying any more than that. But I
Uh,
love the fact that, like
yeah,
Rain, she was a
but
kid and remained a kid, and she was in like just had puberty and all that, and looking at God. So she had a problem. Everybody in that town had a problem, you know, which was
yes.
fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But when you're mixing, medieval people with modern day veterans,
Mm.
it's pretty weird.
Yeah, well, it was weird. Come on, yeah, I love it. Good weird, good weird. Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's why it's a comedic horror.
yeah,
Really,
yeah.
because hey, when you're alive forever, um,
Mm,
you might as well do something, right?
yeah,
You're not gonna just
that's
sit
yeah.
there and go,
And then there was a love side of it, you know, it's sweet and this and that,
yep,
and the
yep,
jealousies were there. So all of those, you know, emotions were in it actually, even though we laughed about it all. But I loved the going up the mountain.
yeah. That was that was
Body parts were falling off him, but in a fun way. Holy shit! There goes my finger.
yeah.
That's the comedy.
That was
Yeah,
literally the joke.
it was a joke. Yeah, that's Mr. Forever. Was he lasting forever or not? You'd have to watch that one. Mm,
Yeah, it's crazy. But the thing
yeah.
that outline we did for that was like almost non-existent.
Sorry, non-existing. Did you
Yeah, we
say?
pretty much did not outline that.
Oh, no, outline. That was the point. Coming back to it. Yeah, I forgot about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did not outline it, but we did later. We came back to it and said, okay, let's get our thoughts together. We'll do it this way once we were right into it, you know. And then we aged the veteran. He was just a big character. We blew him up. So even from the beginning, we allowed ourselves to change whatever we liked, being the creators, you know.
Yeah, to
So an
make
outline is not strict, in other words. Yeah,
well, that's right. We had to make everybody fit the story.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Everybody had their reasons. Everybody had their purposes. Everybody had their desires, their
Yeah,
vices.
yeah,
You know, the
yeah,
whole kit and caboodle. But
yeah.
where the outlining came in was doing the weaving.
That's right. Yeah,
When we had to bring these two storylines that were completely separate and bring them together.
that's right. That was the weaving.
Because at the beginning it was together, and then at the end it was together.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, we just did that without even thinking.
No, we didn't plan it.
No,
It
no.
just worked.
It just
You
worked.
know?
And we
It,
kind
wa-
of
it,
sat back and went, "Oh, that's a surprise, isn't it? Look what happened."
yeah, yeah. It would,
What did happen?
which made for a very interesting new style, new way of looking at the story,
For
which
us,
we neither of us had considered before.
that's true. It just
You know,
happens. You know.
and I've written a heck of a lot of stories before we did Mr. Forever, and it
Mm,
was like,
yeah.
never occurred to me to write the two separate
Ah,
pieces that only connect at the beginning and at the end.
yeah. Yes, that was clever.
But they still, in the script, it still overlaps because you know what's happening over here
Oh,
on the mountain to this guy over
yeah.
here, but you know what's happening with these people over here in the town and the next scene, and
Mm,
back and
mm,
forth, and we were able to weave it cleanly for
yes,
things
yes.
that were happening at the same time,
That's
basically at
right.
both places,
Mm, mm. Yeah, I liked all that.
and that it all happened in one night. That was the crazy part.
Yeah.
That was the crazy part.
Yeah. But I still love doing that. It's one of my favourite rights, right up,
Well, because we had so much fun doing it.
especially after Reagan's War. That was so
Well, yes,
serious.
we needed to lighten up after
I
that.
know. And we started with, so we ended up with this serious political thriller with Reagan's War. And
Yeah.
after that, we said we need something that's lighter and fun. And so I come up with the idea, well, let's kill everybody. No, I
And I
said,
says,
no,
okay,
that was
there's
the
the
other
horror.
one.
It's
This
okay,
one
there's
was,
the horror part.
yeah. No, I think it was like, I want someone to live forever. That's it. And that was the title stuck too, Mr.
It ended
Forever.
up being Mr. Forever, yes.
That's right. It never changed it, yeah. And
No,
it
never
worked.
needed to change. It just
No,
was. And I
yeah.
mean, that was literally his name.
And our log line, we didn't write that straight up either because we didn't know the story. So
No, not yet.
again, talking about what I said before, the log line's so important. I just kind of like said the opposite to what I said before, you know. But you have to get to log line eventually, of course.
Well, yes, you do. Yes, you do. But I
Mm.
mean, if you have
You don't have to
a
have
lot of
one.
people, a lot of people start with a log line,
That's
and
right.
then they have to build the story from the log line.
You have to know your story to do that,
Yes.
would you say?
Um, no, I think a lot of people they want to write a story that's about this.
That.
And
Mm.
that's the log line,
Mm. We're
right?
more imaginative
And
then,
then
aren't
and
we?
then and then they have to start putting together all the pieces,
To
you
fit.
know, that fit to the points of what's in the log line.
I don't think I'm like that.
No, I'm
I can't.
usually doing I lots of ideas all at the same time and trying
Yeah.
to
That's
kind
how
of
we
hit
work. Yeah, together.
and hitting them from 50 different angles,
Mm.
different ways, and to
Yes.
see what'll
My,
weave in and what won't.
my mind is always open to new ideas, I think. So I
Oh
couldn't
yeah, me too.
work yeah, I know you do. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
both do. That's why we work well together because we're open to everything, to
Oh
change
yeah,
and, yeah.
totally.
And that's why we don't do a log line to begin with. Comes later.
Well,
And
yeah,
that,
because number one, you don't even know who the log line's going to be about yet,
that's right. And then you play with it later on when you know what you've done. And then
because
you
it's basically
change.
X does X to get X,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And you have to fill in all the details.
Yeah, we
and
do.
and a lot of times that literally comes just sit down with a piece of paper because
Mm,
looking at a blank screen helps nobody.
that's true.
I mean, really, most people it doesn't.
Mm,
But if you get a
mm.
piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, whatever
I'm
you're
the
using,
same. Better than the computer for this part.
hand I know, but hand eye coordination.
Mm,
You don't even have to think about your writing. You're just
that's right.
thinking and your hands writing.
It's easier. Yeah, for some reason it works. It helped me, I know
It's
that.
the natural form
Mm,
of human
yes,
ingenuity.
yes.
You
It's
know,
like,
I mean, it was they used to put paintings, you know, carve
mm,
out paintings or draw paintings on cave walls.
mm, mm, mm,
It didn't require them to be super geniuses to
yeah.
do that. It's natural to do that.
Mm. Yeah, what comes natural. Yes. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know
Working
how
with
that works. But,
doing with your hands.
mm. It helped my memory.
Oh
That's
yes,
what it does
always.
for me. Memory.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep. You can sit there. Oh, wait a minute. We already wrote that. Hang on. We already have that. And it's oh yeah, sure. There it is in the
Yeah.
note. I wrote down on the
Yeah.
side, right? Or you wrote down on the side.
Yeah.
We know that thing
It's your
is there.
first
Where is it?
memory. Mm,
You
mm,
know?
yeah. It's bodily related. Uh, talking about outlines, when I wrote my um, Welcome to China, that script, and I
Mm-hmm.
had terrible trouble with it, like my first script it was, obviously. And I had, apart from the things that we talked about, it's just like I never had, I tried to write an outline, but it wasn't, the story wasn't finished, all that kind of stuff. So I went back to
Oh,
just
okay.
writing scenes and writing and writing and writing. That's how I ended up with far too many pages as well. But
Yes.
again, but what happened was because I was co-writing with Reggie, and I didn't want to overwrite his part and things like that, and yet he was leaving it up to me. So because we get on famously, I love him to death, Reggie, and
Mm.
we're best mates and all the rest of it. So, but in the end, I mean, after so long I spent with it, far too long, um, I said, look, Reg, how about give me a go at it, and he's because we couldn't get it the end what's going to happen in the end and in which order without a doubt,
Yes.
and that's what the outline does, keeps
Mm-hmm.
things in order. So then he said, yeah, go for it, go kill it,
Yep.
do what you like. So I sat, I think I was in Germany at the time, and I sat there with pen and paper, like book that I was using at the time, notebook, and in 20 minutes I had the thing done. Beach,
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
yes, and that is true. I mean, I had, because I knew the story back to front, but I didn't know where it was going to be. And to beat the beat sheet, which is what you mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
Once I put those two things together, the beat sheet and all the scenes were in the right place. And I went, holy crap, this is beautiful. And I thought,
Yeah.
at last, oh, that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't hard.
Well,
Must have been
and
about
the thing is,
so long
yeah,
on it.
but once you have all these ideas down,
Mm.
that really is where the now you start filling in the outline.
Yeah, well, that's right. But I already had the scenes. I
That's
had
right.
them.
That's right.
Too many, but I
Yeah.
had them.
Yeah.
And
But you
that's
had but you also had to set them up in proper order
that's right,
of what was
exactly.
happening.
Yeah, to fit the beat sheets, and I knew that part by
Mhm.
then.
Mhm.
Before that, I didn't know because we started writing that before I went to meet up with Hal and all the screenwriters, in Hollywood.
Mm. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right. That's
and
right. Yeah.
I walked into a bookstore with Save the Cat, I think it might be in the writer's store, not too sure. Staples, who knows, can't remember. Anyway, we're in, and I picked up the book and I read it in the hotel. Oh, God. Huh?
Mhm.
And that's Blake Snyder came out with his very first book way
Yeah.
back
Yep.
2005, 2006, you know.
Mhm.
And everybody, and I went, oh, now I know what's going on.
Now I get
So
it. Yeah.
yeah. So now I understand movies. Now I understand the story, how it comes together. I've watched so many movies, you know, and now I
Yeah.
know how I can see it in reverse. Boom.
Now you can see how they got
Yeah.
to
So that,
lining it up like they lined it up.
and that did guide me for a very long time, that
Mhm.
I don't need it now, of course. But,
Yeah.
like, is it a buddies movie? Is it this, that, fish out of water? But that's what that was. And, that
Mhm.
helps too. If you know those things.
Well,
So
yeah, and
I
I
thank
mean,
Blake Snyder.
yeah, you can imagine the outlining I had to do for the first two Descend and Past movies
Yes, yeah,
because
yeah.
these were happening in the 1600s and
Mm-hmm.
specific dates. and situations that
Mm,
were going on at the time.
that's right.
And I mean, those things had to be exactly clear and documented, and this happens before this happens, right?
In the order, yeah, this must happen before that, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even though it's like,
Mm.
historical sci-fi type of thing, it's also fish out of water. You
Mm.
know, but that's what made me think of it. You said fish
Yeah,
out of water, right?
yeah, fish out of water. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had so much fun with that as well because once I'd read the book, I just went back and rewrote a lot of the beginnings and put that on page 5. This has got to happen on page 4, page 12, the catalyst page. You know what I mean. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be exact, but it was a
No.
guide. It did help me, and I thought that's making sense. That's making sense.
Yeah.
And and it
Yeah.
worked for
But
me.
but the thing is, it's only a guide. It's not set in stone.
Absolutely only a guide. Yeah. When you're starting out, it was a big help. And you were writing before Blake wrote that.
Yes.
And
Yep.
I was trying to figure it out before I'd read the book
But
also, but,
hey, I had
I found that big help anyway,
yeah,
so,
but I had gotten a little, just little thin book, you know,
yeah,
from
yeah.
from the library on writing for TV. That
Everybody
was that
reads
was from
something.
that was from the 1960s.
Oh,
No, I
really?
was
Yeah.
not writing at that time. I was the little kid at that time.
Yeah. Actually, I went like that. Oh my
but
God,
then but then
10.
I got once I got into actually writing, I was just writing for the sake of writing. I
Mm.
did not know how to write scripts. But once I got the Screenwriter's Bible from
Yeah.
Trottier,
Oh, yeah, you got it right.
it was like, okay, this is how you line it up. This is why you do this. This
Mm.
is why you do that. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Strict
the
rules. Yes.
the the well, some of the practice stuff I used. Other stuff it was
Mm.
like that makes no sense. I'm already
Yeah.
this much further
You're
past it.
tracking already. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
because I already had the story down. It was now I had to figure out how to make it in, lay it out in
Mm.
script.
Well, the whole point for me was having a beat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Forget the cat, forget everything else, but having
Mm-hmm.
a beat sheet was helpful,
Yeah.
most helpful. Okay, it was like and I said to you, I think, oh, I don't know, before I met you even, I was doing all this stuff, but not long before I met you. So I said, this is like, like, no, I can't remember now, but it was really good. Big help.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
Well, every little bit helps, and you find out as you go along which ones serve your purposes and which ones don't.
Yeah,
And that's
and
going to
you,
be the same for everybody, or you're going to just learn it so well that you never make that mistake a second time.
well, that's true. And I know I don't even need a beat sheet anymore because in my head, like
Yeah.
I got paid 75, but that did something like that. What are we up to? Got to kill
Well,
somebody? We kind of like no
yeah, but
problem.
I mean, but you've got your you know,
Yeah, not a
screenwriting
Bible.
programs that all have it all laid out for you to do your beat sheets and this and that and that and that. I just
Yeah,
found it a total waste of time.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it helped me in the beginning, but after that, I didn't. I was already
I,
aware of
I
things.
didn't I didn't need to color code stuff to know I'm
No.
writing on this. In
Yeah,
this, I'm at this location with these
yeah,
people. I didn't need
yeah,
color coding to tell me that.
yeah. I don't need
It
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 anymore
really
either that
to
way,
me
but
it just to me it just
a
um,
guide, that's
made the
all, right?
screenwriting program itself more complicated than it needed to be.
Yeah.
It
Because
doesn't help you write screenplays.
that's right, yeah,
It has nothing
exactly.
to do with screenwriting.
Nothing to,
Shuffling around
no,
little stuff all over
yeah.
the place. It has nothing to do with screenwriting. If you had
I,
lined up, if you had properly lined up in your outline, you wouldn't need to do that.
that's right, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yep.
what it did do was keep me down to my required page numbers. I'm laughing at myself now.
Okay, there. Okay, there's a point. There's a
Yeah.
point. But you do
Uh,
have to remember to set in your page count first
yeah,
that you want
I'm
to hit.
kidding. Yeah, I know. I just, oh, it was crazy writing. I loved all my scenes, and because actually actually what it was hard for me or easy for me, I had to keep. I was writing my experiences while I was in China, in how it was
Yes,
China back then, and
as
the
it was
stuff was
happening.
like jewels, you know.
Mm.
Wow, I had to record that, they became scenes, of course, after scene after scene, and it was just incredibly crazy. And I don't know what happened to those other 50 pages, but it was really good. I
Exactly.
should have written a book, of course, but then I wasn't the screenwriter. But
Um,
anyway, but we've written a lot since then. We've come a long
well,
way since
that's
those
okay
days.
because
Yeah.
you know what? You take all that early script,
Mm.
that
Mm-hmm.
very first script, that early script. That's the one you
Mm-hmm.
turn around and you turn into a book
Into a book, yes.
because it already has all the details, all the stuff that you did not stream out, stream and cut out of
Mm.
the script,
Yeah. It was a
right?
story, one hell of a story, being in China. An all
Yeah.
true story, except for the bits that I put in to make it unreal. Well, real, I don't know. But it was linked with everything was true. That was the story.
Well,
When
the stuff
me and
happening.
Reggie walking backwards, not backwards. Ah, China back then, that was like, when was that? In the early 2000s. And now, look at China now. I suppose off track a little bit there, but I'm glad I wrote it.
Well, yes, no
Everything's
doubt about that at
changed in
all.
that country, yeah.
Hmm. But
Innocence,
anyway,
yeah, oh yeah, we're going
we
over
have gone overtime,
time. Like we
which
normally
is
do.
which is fine because
Yeah, I don't
some
care.
things just
Yeah.
take a little bit more explaining than others,
That's
you know,
right, yeah,
and samples always help.
yeah. It's so much fun doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
So,
on Orlando's channel, but we figured out how to put it on both our channels, but so we'll probably fix that one up. But primarily, you'll find this on as recorded on Orlando Zabo's channel on YouTube,
yeah,
correct?
right.
This
Yeah,
week. Next week it's on mine.
that's right. And what are we going to be talking about next week?
Ah, good question. I just thought I had no idea then. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to talk about AI. I don't think
Well,
that's a good idea yet.
it's
I need to do more research about that, but that's on the agenda somewhere along the line. Maybe next week,
it
maybe
is
not.
at some point it is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because that you can't avoid it. Because you can't. AI is never going to go away, whether for good or for bad or for evil.
Well,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Mm. But anyway, there's a lot more other things we can talk about. Outline was great. Um, I don't know, what are we going to talk about? You had anything?
Well, I think maybe should we get into a bit of
Some of our stuff.
building story?
Story building, yes.
Because I mean, that's one of those things that's going to take a number of episodes.
Yes, of course, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Um, Building a story, starting from, put a teaser in here. Um, how to build a story. It's a bloody good question. I think that just comes to us.
Yeah. But
But
that'll be next week.
after that, yeah.
That'll be next week.
No, next week. Okay, we
Yeah,
talk about
story
that.
building.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, and that comes along with where ideas come from and everything else, which,
Yeah. From that to the page. Yeah.
yep,
Screen. Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, all right. So, if you like, we'd love you to like it and subscribe if you wish.
And share all over the place.
Yes.
Would be happy to would be happy to help any writers that need any have
Yes.
any questions.
Oh, definitely. That, yeah. Love some
Hmm.
feedback. It'd be great. Yeah.
Exactly.
No worries.
Exactly. Anyway, have
So, no.
yourselves all a great
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah. Bye,